I live with type 1 diabetes and I've been taking metformin for about a year and a half. Here's a look at my experience taking metformin with type 1 diabetes. So why would someone with type 1 diabetes want to take a drug intended for type 2 diabetes? Here's why. As a person with type 1 diabetes, there are actually 6 hormones that your body doesn't produce properly. We are only given something to replace one of those hormones. We're given insulin, but we're not given anything to help our bodies compensate for the other 5 hormones that we don't produce normal amounts of. Those other 5 hormones do things like regulate your appetite, tell your brain you're full while you're eating, slow down how quickly the food you ate digests and impacts your blood sugar, regulates how much sugar your liver is producing all day long. Did you know that as a type 1, you might be actually producing way more sugar from your liver than normal? That's kind of cruel if you think about it. We are constantly trying to manage our blood sugar by being careful about what we eat and taking insulin for our carbs. Meanwhile, our liver is working against us the whole time, and no one gave us a medication to help compensate for that. I started taking metformin because when I was waking up in the morning, my dawn phenomenon blood sugar spike from those morning hormones was getting crazy dramatic and I couldn't figure out why.
Dawn phenomenon is a normal hormonal process that occurs early in the morning in people with diabetes. These hormones help your body start the day. One of these hormones tells your liver to release stored sugar.
I was spiking from like 90 the moment I woke up to 250 within an hour of being awake. It was so frustrating. I run every day. I lift weights. I walk my dog twice a day. There's no reason why I should be struggling with insulin resistance. A big part of dawn phenomenon is simply your liver releasing stored glucose, sugar. I was also finding that my background insulin dose was suddenly creeping up for no reason. What the heck? I'm working so hard with my lifestyle habits. I shouldn't be dealing with this. Here's how metformin helps me as a person with type 1 diabetes. Metformin helps me feel full sooner, and generally I just don't feel that constant hunger that can come with type 1 diabetes because of the hormones we don't produce properly. Metformin helps me feel full longer after eating because it slows down digestion. Metformin tells my liver to produce less glucose, helping me compensate for, again, those hormones that would normally regulate liver glucose production. Metformin also kind of acts like a carb blocker. Metformin actually does prevent some of the carbohydrates you eat after digestion from being absorbed into your bloodstream and affecting your blood sugar. My insulin needs for my meals dropped dramatically because of metformin. I mean, I'd say almost as much as 50% for some of my meals. Metformin also just increases your sensitivity to insulin. So overall, I saw a dramatic reduction in how much insulin I need for my meals and a smaller reduction in my background insulin needs. All of the above is helpful. The downside of metformin is that it can really affect your stomach because everything I just described is affecting how your digestive system really manages the food you eat. Metformin is known for causing gas, bloating, diarrhea, and people rushing to the bathroom. Personally, my experience with the side effects of metformin have been like minimal. That first week, I'd say I rushed to the bathroom a couple times, but otherwise, no big deal. So I tolerate metformin really well. Some people just don't. I'm taking the extended release version, which is supposed to help with the side effects. It doesn't hit you all at once like the immediate release version. I also started on a low dose and I've increased my dose a little bit since then, but I was patient. I increased it over the course of like a year. The biggest thing metformin does for me is it calms down that morning spike in my blood sugar. So I actually take my whole dose of metformin right before bed. That's what works for me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not your doctor. Normally, it's prescribed to be taken before every meal. Take your metformin the way your doctor tells you to. By taking my whole dose at night, I also found that it was more predictable and more consistent in how it affected the insulin I need for all of my meals the next day. When I was taking it with every meal, which is how it's normally prescribed, I was having a hard time predicting the impact on my insulin needs for a meal. And then it was like overlapping and it was just like it felt messier. To be extra clear, metformin cannot replace your need for insulin. If you're taking metformin with type 1 diabetes, you still need daily insulin from rapid acting and long acting insulins or rapid acting in an insulin pump. I do believe that metformin metformin also helps me manage my weight because it's helping me maintain insulin sensitivity, keeping my insulin needs lower. It's reducing how much glucose my liver makes, which means I need less insulin, which would store that extra glucose as body fat. And it's reducing how much of the carbs I eat are impacting my blood sugar, which means I have less insulin, taking excess glucose from the meals I eat, storing it as body fat. So overall, it helps a little bit with weight loss and weight management. Fortunately, metformin is really affordable. It is one of the cheapest drugs on the planet. This is my experience of taking metformin with type 1 diabetes. Thanks for watching Diabetes Nerd. Find my books on Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment.